now want to welcome on to the show. She is the guard at Bowdoin College. She's going to be a second-year player. Tori Beck, thank you so much for coming on to the CORECAST.
Thanks for having me.
Anytime. Well, we're excited to talk to you. I feel like this episode especially is going to be a very relevant episode to a lot of athletes, and with everything going on this week in particular in college sports, we're going to touch on a lot of that stuff. But I want to start at the beginning. So, What kind of kid were you growing up? What sports did you play? What got you into basketball? Let's start there.
Yeah, so my family has played basketball. Like, my grandpa played at Kentucky. He, that was kind of me growing up. Like, I saw that. And my dad played in high school. My mom played in college. My older brother played. And I think just like seeing that is like why I wanted to get into it. I played since I was like 5, like in rec league and competitive and stuff like that. My mom was my coach, so definitely runs in the family. And then I played other sports. I played soccer, just kind of for fun, until I got into basketball more seriously. I ran track for a little bit in high school. I played tennis my senior year, just like for fun, which was like really fun. It kind of helped with my lateral quickness though, so that was good. Yeah, but definitely just got into. I just like loved the game, and my family played it, and I just saw that growing up. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So this is something, and you alluded to it. So you're kind of already teasing this next question here. So I appreciate you making it easier for me to ask the questions. We've had a lot of athletes on. We've had a guy who was a pitcher who played a lot of basketball, and he talked about how being a forward playing basketball, that footwork element helped his pitching. We've had that with hockey players who have played volleyball and baseball, and they talk about being able to kind of move between those different sports and learn those movements made him a better hockey player. And you touch on it there, like was playing soccer and running track and playing all these different sports, was that something that you felt helped make you a better basketball player, and in what way?
Yeah, I kind of think almost in the other way, like playing basketball helped me like be able to pick up on other sports easier in a weird way. Like I said, tennis definitely helped with my lateral quickness, but I didn't do that until my senior year of high school. I wasn't like doing that before, but I think like soccer, I was a goalie, so I still used my hands. I like got around all the feet stuff. I like couldn't do it, not coordinated that way. And then, I don't know, I think it definitely, like, sports carry over to each other, like you said, like, any training, for track, obviously, like, being in better shape and, like, doing that. My high school coach did a lot of, like ladder quickness drills and, like, things that football players do to get in training, and I think just a lot of different, like, training exercises I did, and, like, sprint workouts, stuff that you do in track. Like, it just made it easier for me to like play basketball and get in better shape. And so I never really did like I've heard that like doing multiple sports is like so good for you, and I never really did that. But I think like being able to play basketball and like having so many different aspects of basketball like helped me be able to pick up another sport like pretty easily, kind of in a reverse way.
In a reverse way, but it's very much still a valid way.
Yeah.
So you played a lot of different sports. Was basketball something where, despite playing a lot of sports, you're like, that's the sport, that's going to end up being the sport for me? Or were you looking at any other sports? Or, you mentioned you come from a whole family of incredible athletes. So is it just like, that's what I'm going to do, and that was pretty much it from the start?
I think definitely when I had to decide club basketball or club soccer was when that was probably 4th or 5th grade. I decided pretty early. I think that's like, that age is moving up when you have to decide what sport you want to specialize in. I think at that moment I knew, I was like, I like basketball the most. I'm going to put the most time into that. And like, I never really thought about it. And then once I rolled around to high school, I realized that, I can play other sports for fun, just like in my off season. And that happened to me in track. I ran my sophomore year and realized it was like too much with club basketball. And so I had to end up stop doing that. But it was really fun. And like, I think that ultimately I just like loved the game so much that I just wanted to, that was like what I decided to do early on. Yeah.
So you played in high school, had a really great high school career. What made you want to make the jump then to college? Because like you said, you had an older brother who played. All of your parents, like I said, just an incredibly athletic family. Kentucky basketball, all of that great stuff. What made you want to decide to play in college?
I kind of just like never really thought that I wasn't going to. Like no matter, I mean, like playing club, people talk about it so much, and the team that I was on in like 8th grade when you travel a bunch was like, everyone was like getting letters for camps, and I was like, this is something that I want to do as long as I can.
Yeah.
And then once I started getting more into high school, I realized that, you know, this could be a way that I could go and get a really great education at like a top-notch school and like play the sport I love and have the balance of both. And so I never really like thought that I wasn't going to.
Wow.
Which is is kind of crazy. Yeah, but I think it just like, I found the right level for me, which is really important for a lot of people. I think a lot of people not aim too high, but you know, you can get the most out of an education anywhere, like get the most out of playing anywhere, and I found like the right spot for me. So
nice.
yeah.
So take me into that process. Like you said, you said you found the right level. You obviously found a great fit with where you're at right now.
Yeah.
But, you know, how did you narrow that down? What was, you know, that process like? Because, you know, there's a lot of colleges and universities out there, and a lot of them have basketball programs, but you know, what really helped you find your spot? What was the recruiting process like?
Yeah, so I knew that I wanted to go to a high academic school. I've like, I don't know, been really interested in academics for all my life.
Yeah.
I like love school. I'm a nerd. What can I say? But I think I started looking at like high academic schools and like Ivies, stuff like that, and like a lot of the, you know, in my conference, the NESCAC, like they're all top-notch schools, and like liberal arts really interested me. I think seeing my brother go through the process, my mom like looked into a bunch of stuff for him, and she was like, I think this would be really good for you. And so I started a little bit earlier, like knowing that I wanted to go D3, high academic, like really competitive program. And I like went out and visited a bunch of schools. I think my maybe junior fall.
Yeah.
No, sophomore fall, yeah. And I went to the East Coast, and I just kind of like fell in love with it.
Okay.
And I was like, I know I want to be here. Like, I'll find a school out here that I love. And like, I really wanted to play for a high functioning team. And I like found some good options, and then narrowed it down, kind of like sent out emails, like feelers of interest and stuff like that. And then kind of fell into place after that.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So you talked about it a little bit with your brother. What was, you know, do you feel like that was to your benefit to see, you know, him going through this whole process? You know, I bring it up a bunch, but it's really cool. Your whole family has gone through this process at different stages of their life. Was that something that you felt, you know, was to your advantage and really helped you?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think watching him go through it, and he was kind of late to the game a little bit, and he found a place that he really enjoyed, but like I think my mom was like, let's jump on it soon, and she was like a huge advocate for me. She like helped me look into all the stuff, and I was like, I can do this, and she's like, no, I'll do it for like, it was for fun for her basically. And so yeah, I think watching him go through it, she knew kind of where to go different, and you know, we didn't go wrong, but like where we could have done things better, I think, from his process, and like learned from that a lot, and like talking to coaches and, you know, making a better effort. And I think my high school coach helped a lot with that, because she was like, I can make calls for you, I can do anything you want, like I'll text a coach before you go to camp, stuff like that, and so that you're on their radar more. And I don't think my brother had that as much, but yeah, it was definitely helpful to see him go through it and see what I could do better to find a place that I really loved.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what would you say would be some of the biggest learnings from that? Because we have, you know, athletes, trainers, people of all different kinds and levels who are maybe looking to take their game to the next level and play in college. What were some of the things you learned, you know, from that recruiting process?
I think never be afraid to reach out and never be afraid to go for what you want, and like reach out to a coach. Like the worst they're gonna do is be like, we're already full, you know, like at least you tried.
Exactly.
And I think for my level, like I went to a bunch of Ivy League camps that had D3 coaches come and like watch and coach you, which like being able to work with like at the Princeton camp, I got to work with the head coach of Bowdoin, where I am now. And like I was on not her team but another team, and I got to like interact with her in like a level where, you know, you don't always get that when they're just watching you play with your team.
Yeah.
You get to like work with them, and they get to see what kind of player you are. Like I think finding camps that have those opportunities are huge. Or like if you're, you know, going for a higher level, like reach out to the coaches, like go to their camps, have your high school coach contact them if they can, like just like try to make yourself on their radar, and like don't be afraid to like, I just sent them an email with like my highlight tape like 3 weeks ago. Like they don't want another one, but like they love film. If they don't have time to watch it, they don't have time to watch it. But yeah, I think like highlight videos were huge for me. Sending full games, coaches really like that too, because they get to see all the stuff, not just you're making 100 shots in a row, like stuff like that. But I also like, coaches don't always have time to watch a whole film, so I would like put in the times when I went in and when I got taken out, so that they only watched those like certain clips if they wanted to. I don't know if they actually listened to that or not, or if they just watched the whole thing or didn't watch any of it, but I thought that was really helpful.
Wow.
So, yeah.
No, that's definitely really helpful. And
yeah.
I think it's going to be a benefit to everyone, and I think the thing that you hit on the most is just be an advocate for yourself.
Yeah.
It's, be smart, be buttoned up, and be an advocate, because like you said, you could be sending out an email, and it's not that they're not reading it because they don't like you. It could be lost. It could be one of many emails. So just keeping that repetition and cadence is incredibly important.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Very cool. So now I want to get to you end up choosing Bowdoin. You get there to campus. What was the biggest thing that you found to be the difference between playing in high school here in Colorado to now you're playing D3, you're playing definitely really competitive basketball. What was that moment where you got there and you're like, oh man, I am not back in Colorado anymore. This is not senior year of high school. Like this is legit. Do you have any moment or story you look back on?
I think we play a lot of pickup in preseason, and just like, obviously a lot of people say this, like the speed of the game is faster, I think a big one that not a lot of people talk about is communication. Is you have to talk so much more, and like even in pickup, like we're talking to each other and learning a new system, and like how that works is really tricky. And I think playing pickup with everyone, and like, I don't know, that was like a huge like aha moment. I was like, oh wow, like I need to pick up my game, like this is fast, we're gonna learn a lot of stuff. And then I think like the first week of practice, when we actually got to work with our coach, and we start, our conference starts November 1st, which is like 2 weeks later than all the other D3 conferences. I'm not really sure why, but that's just like what happens. And so she's really like, when we go in, she's like, we gotta hit the ground running, because we have 2 weeks shorter than everyone else, than all the people that we want to play. So, I think the first week of practice, she was like, and it happens every year, like the upperclassmen tell us, she's like, you can talk as loud as you want, she's still gonna say yell louder. Like they just expect that out of you. And so I think just like going through that and having that like talking, you gotta talk a lot. Every drill, you lose your voice kind of by the end of the week. I think I did by the end of the first week. I was like, I can't talk in class at all anymore. But yeah, that and speed. I think my coach is big on defense, so lateral quickness, I like needed to adjust to that. And I don't know, it's a lot more competitive too. I think like you get to a place where like your practices you're playing against, like I felt like I was playing against some of like the best people in the nation. Like obviously like I just feel that for my team because I think they're all awesome.
No,
but
totally.
But I think that like helped us a lot, just be able to like practice hard against each other, and we took criticism really well and held each other accountable, and just like being able to do that, like we got some of the best competition playing against each other in practice and going after each other and being super competitive. So
Cool.
Well,
the training thing I think is the most fascinating thing, because obviously we're a little bit biased to the world of training as a fitness and fitness company. How did the training change for you from high school to college? What were the things that you noticed? Were you now having to focus on different things? Was it different exercises? Take us kind of into that.
Yeah, so I lifted in high school a little bit. I took my high school coach's weight class, and it just like is nowhere near the rigor of college lifting, like at all. Like I love Coach Day the most, but it was just not the same. And so we would lift 3 times a week, and we had speed training the other 2 days. Tuesday, Thursday, we had speed training. And I think lifts they're a lot faster pace. You do a lot more full body workouts. Really like power lifts, which we did in high school, but not to the extent. I think it focused a lot on more like smaller muscle groups, trying to focus on like building the base so you can get stronger all around, which is really awesome. I think speed training, I did that kind of in high school too, in the same class, but not to the extent of like, we have testing at the end of, preseason. And, you're really just pushing your body to a different level that I didn't know I could be pushed to. And I think just like, I don't know, we also played pickup or preseason too, and just like that whole, like, I think by my 2 weeks into preseason, I was like, wow, my body hurts. Like, I've never felt this level of pain before. But yeah, it feels good because you're getting stronger, and I don't know, you feel like you can push yourself even harder than you thought you could. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And what in particular were you do you feel like made, the jump, as you're getting better and you're kind of you're working over the course of your first year, what things do you feel like you made a significant jump in? Was it your defense? Was it your shooting? Was it your speed?
Yeah.
Was it all of those things because you're just, coming in and hitting the ground running? Was there anything you felt like, you really trained for and made the jump on in terms of skill?
Yeah, I think I struggled a lot in high school with like confidence of shooting, like knowing the right shots to take, when I should take them, stuff like that. Because in high school I had 2 great posts, and we would just feed them. That was a game plan. If we got outside shots, we would take them. But and like, I think knowing, like in college, my coach was like, we need you to shoot. Like all of my teammates were like, this is what you're good at, like do it. And so I think that was something that I grew a lot in right away, just from like the encouragement that I had around me of like, you got this, like go for it. And I think my team is like has a super positive, like, outlook on everything. We like encourage each other. That's like one of our things that we do, is like lift each other up. So that was really helpful, just like doing that. I think in high school we only ever played zone defenses, which is like not a lot of people do that. And they were high intensity, like trapping, really active zone defenses. It wasn't just like sit back in a 2-3. But I think I had to learn a lot to like play man defense and like man principles. And so I think my defense grew a lot in that, and I still have to work a lot in that, just to like have pressure on the ball and stuff like that. But I don't want to bore you with that. But
no, it's okay.
And so like I think I grew a lot in just like learning a new system. I think freshmen have such a huge learning curve that they have to do. It's a whole new system. It's a whole like set of rules. Like some coaches want you to push baseline or push middle on defense, and like learning the differences between that, like the little nuances, stuff like that. So I don't know, I think that it's a lot.
It's a whole different game. It's a whole different scheme. It's a whole different system of play. And that's the case, going from any team or going from any level. So what would you say, were the biggest, differences between, the high school game and then now you're in the college game? You talked about it a little bit with you're having to go from zone to man. Was there anything offensively that was different for you, or what else?
I think we had a lot of sets for offense in high school, and like there was options out of that, but you pretty much ran through the whole play, and then you'd run another huge one, shot clock.
Gotcha.
We don't have that in Colorado.
Totally.
We have that in we have that in college. I think it would be a huge game changer for high school. People are concerned about like running the score up and things like that, costs and stuff like that, which I get, but I think it would be a huge game changer and like make games a lot more interesting. But for high school, you could like run through a couple sets. You could stall if you were up by like 5 minutes to go. You can't do that in college.
No, because you have the shot clock.
Exactly. So, but for offenses in college, it's a lot more motion based. We have sets, but it's a lot more like reading out of that. If you can cut through and have someone cut off your back, it's really just like moving and knowing, like moving off the ball is really important, I think too. Like you can't just stand there, and like a lot of times in high school you just like you get a break on offense because you're just standing there while everyone else does all the stuff, all the action. But I think just it's a lot more active, and you have to be a lot more alert, like thinking too. Like, and knowing, it's hard because you have to know, like you have to think a lot and like all the strategy of the game, but also like you can't think because then you're like in your head too much.
Exactly,
but I think it's huge learning curve there.
And I think you bring up a good point. It's thinking the game and then thinking the game while you're playing the game are two different things, because you're thinking, you're sitting there, but you have to now think in real time, apply it, and then kind of figure out what else is going on as well. So I think the jump from high school to college to pro, I think it's a fascinating thing to look at. And I think the most interesting thing you brought up was the shot clock, is because you're playing a game, you can stall, you can do whatever you want, you can just kind of take your time, but now you're having to rip through possessions relatively quick.
For sure. And you get down to the 12 seconds and you're like, oh no, what do we do now? You know, and then you have all those plays that these are last minute plays. This is what you do if we need to do that. So that's a whole nother, it's a lot. I think just like you said, like thinking, I think you have to think a lot quicker, like think on your feet. And that's like, I don't know if that's everywhere, but I know for sure that's in our league because, you know, everyone's high academic school, everyone's really smart. Yeah. You can like throw a bunch of random stuff at the students or the athletes and they'll be fine because they can pick it up. But it makes scouting a lot more interesting
for sure,
because they have a lot more sets that you have to pick up.
Nice.
To other teams. Yeah.
Well, now I want to go into your freshman season. What was that like? I mean, you're on campus, you're playing high level basketball. Yeah. Take me through your freshman year. What were you learning? You know, what were some of the high points? What was just tell us about that.
I loved it. I loved it a lot. It was awesome. I think I had a little bit of trouble balancing everything. Not for time, but just like I need to learn to like put more time into my studying, but also put more time into my basketball. Yeah. Like, we were encouraged a lot to like get up shots whenever you have time, and knowing I was like, okay, I only have certain time to do this, but I also need to study, and like balancing that was a little bit difficult. Yeah. But I kind of got the hang of it, and you know, I was in the gym a lot, and our whole team was, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. But I think, you know, our season, we started off really well. Our conference, we play in a really high conference. We had, you know, some of the top 5 other schools in the nation in our league. Yeah. And, you know, we lost to them, 2 of them, Tufts and Amherst, in our season, in our conference play. And then in our tournament, we beat them and we won our conference, which was really awesome. It was like definitely a high. That's definitely so cool. High. Yeah, it was really awesome. And you know, I think going into that game, just like the little things, like being able to like listen to music and get ready with your team in the locker room and, you know, get each other pumped up, just like shoot arounds were really awesome. I think those were like some of the most fun things ever because, I don't know, we just like split into teams. A lot of our practices too. Sorry, I'm all over the place.
No, go for it. Go for it. This is part of the fun. This is part of the talking to athletes. So no, go for it. Jump right in.
I think for our practices, we did a lot of like, they're competitive based, so like we split into teams right off the bat, and every drill you get a point for your drill, and losing team runs, and then whoever wins practice, like the other team runs. And so the environment is just really competitive, really, but it's fun too. Like you're going after each other, and it's awesome. So like little things like that just made it really awesome. Just like how practices were scheduled. When I talked about testing earlier, after preseason, that environment was crazy because you're all just like, you're maxing your lifts and you're sprinting and everyone's like encouraging you, and the environment is crazy and you're like, your body hurts so bad, but you're like, I can do this because everyone's encouraging me. And so just like having that, like everyone like back you is just an awesome feeling. And that was definitely, just, I think winning was awesome, but like having my team there and like they're some of the best people I've ever met in my life. Like, I don't know, just, they're awesome people. I don't know.
That's really cool. And you talked about, I mean, you obviously had a great freshman season in the sense that you guys had a lot of team success. Yeah. You know, obviously with kind of everything that happened in March, you know, did you guys get a chance to play in the postseason at all, or were you able to play a complete postseason? I know it was different for everyone.
Yeah, we were hosting the Sweet 16, and I think we had our pregame practice, and then our coach was like, there's probably news going to come out on Twitter later today, like let's all go to lunch and we'll keep our phones in the cars and we'll just have like a good team environment. And we found out later that day that we couldn't play anymore. We couldn't play. We were in the NCAA tournament in the Sweet 16, about to play the next day. So that was hard. I think we were going to make a good run.
A good run too.
Yeah. So.
Okay, that's interesting. And now obviously with a lot of the news that's coming out, you know, everyone's season is in flux at this point. What have you been doing, you know, since coming back to stay in shape? Because, you know, a lot of gyms aren't open right now. And you look at sports that are probably the worst to play when it comes to social distancing, and basketball's
the top of the list.
Basketball's at the top of the list. So what have you been doing, you know, after coming back, after not getting that great news, to now stay sharp and stay ready, for a season that may happen, in 2021, and we can talk about that a little bit. But what have you been doing to train and stay sharp?
Yeah, so when I came back, I kind of just like took a couple weeks off because my body was a little bit tired. But then our strength and conditioning coach, Coach Willie, he rewrote all of our workouts for us.
Wow.
For at home workouts that we could like use with backpacks, like load up your backpack, milk jugs, a bunch of stuff like that. It was really awesome, and that made it so much easier for us to stay like fit and strength and conditioning, keep it up. Especially when I was at home, I just go down to the basement and get my backpack.
Throw on the backpack and grab a couple of milk jugs and how you're doing the workout.
And I'm good, yeah. So that made it a lot easier, and then running obviously was fine. My team also did some fitness like competitions where we broke into teams and like saw how many like miles we could run a week for like our team, so it would like make it more fun to run and stuff like that while we were kind of cooped up in our house. Playing, they took the rims off the baskets over at this park by my house. So we my dad and I like found an elementary school that still had the hoops. I'm like talking like quieter. I don't know if it's allowed or not.
No, it's okay.
And we like found an elementary school that still had the hoops, and so he'd go and rebound for me every day, which was really awesome that he helped me with that. But I didn't start playing until playing like pickup with my friends, because I have a lot of friends that play too. I played with them, and one of my other friends, like older brother, he got his friends to come play, so we were like playing like 2s and 3s with some people. I didn't start doing that until probably June, because everyone kind of would come, like was able to like come out of their house a little bit, and we were super careful with like washing our hands and stuff after. But I think doing that, it was just like finding a way to like still stay in shape and have it be fun, but like work around everything that had been put in place. And it definitely was made easier with our workouts being made, like him switching them up for us. And then when the gyms opened back up, he had both. He still has the home workout and the gym workouts on there, so if we don't have access to a gym, we're able to still do the home workouts.
That's really cool. That's awesome that he tailored the home workout to you guys. Like you said, milk jugs, a backpack, just fill that kind of stuff up, and now you're ready to get started. Wow.
It was awesome.
So, your season, I believe, I remember you said you guys are looking at potentially playing in 2021.
Yeah.
So what does the rest of your year look like for you? Obviously, you're going to have school, have to be the student and the student athlete, but what is kind of your outlook for the rest of this year? Is there anything in your game that you really want to improve over these next couple of months before 2021? What's the training going to look like? What is that whole situation?
So we're my school's online. And we can still work with our coaches if we're enrolled starting October 15th. So we're going to try and play pickup for as much as we can in the fall. Not all of my teammates are going to be in Maine to play. So, that's going to be a little bit difficult. A lot of the other teams in our conferences are on campus and are allowed to be on campus. So they definitely have a leg up with being able to, play with their whole team, learn their systems sooner, stuff like that. But I think it's probably just going to try to look as much like a normal preseason as we can with the resources. We're going to have to try to find gym space elsewhere because our gym is being used as a testing site.
Oh, wow.
So we got kicked out of there. But we're going to try to play at the Y or another high school gym or something like that, just find space where we can. I'd love to work still on my game, defense, offense, kind of like I was talking about. I still need to work on those things. Also, just being able to help the freshmen learn the system, because the sophomores were such a huge help for us last season, and all the upperclassmen, but definitely the sophomores, kind of be that for them what our sophomores were for us. And so it's a huge learning curve, and I know that, and I've just lived through it. So being able to help them with that it's going to be interesting because they're on campus. So we're not sure if we're even going to be allowed to interact with them. But
no, exactly.
So we'll see. Hopefully we get a season.
And that kind of bridges nice into this next question. We'll got a couple more, then we'll go into the rapid fire, which is a lot of fun. We run through a lot of random fun stuff. What are should you guys be able to play? What are you most looking forward to?
I think just playing with my team again, like just being in that environment, you know, having the pregame meals, having the, you know, the shoot arounds, stuff like that. Hopefully it can look as normal as it did last year, but if not, you know, just being able to be around those people I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Cool. We'll go ahead. We'll move right into the rapid fire. So we're going to give you a couple of rapid fire questions here. I know this has been hyped up for a little bit.
Yeah.
So the first one I want to ask is, you just got done with the game. We're going to imagine that you just got done with the game. Okay. You know, what is your like go-to post-game meal?
Yeah. We go to a lot of like pizza places. So definitely like been loving the buffalo chicken pizza.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting choice. I like it.
I know like it's not the healthiest. Definitely not the healthiest. But there's some killer pizza places, especially in Boston, because we play a lot of games in Boston.
Okay.
And we always go to the same place after each game, and all the uppers are like, oh, this is what you want to get. This is the best. Yeah. This is the best place. So usually pizza. Sometimes a lot of my teammates get chicken tenders. We don't eat the healthiest. I'm realizing that now.
I think that's the point of a post-game meal is like you can have, you know, spaghetti, chicken tenders, whatever, because you just played a whole game.
Yeah. So I'm definitely a big pizza girl, and I'm gluten-free, so I gotta
go
gluten-free.
Gluten-free,
But I don't usually splurge with the regular, but it's still good. No deep dish. Can't do the deep dish. But it's
Okay, so
pizza.
Next question. Who do you model your game after, your basketball game? Is there any player or maybe a couple of players that you've really tried to model your game after?
Yeah, I actually look up to my brother a lot.
Okay, that's
not
really
a professional,
cool.
not a professional athlete, but he his passion for the game and the way he just went out and was like, I'm gonna a lot for defense. He's like, I'm gonna be in your shorts the whole game and you're not gonna be able to score. And you know, he was put on the best players a lot on the other team, and he'd shut them down. And I think that's something I've always aspired to do is I'm gonna shut you down and you're not gonna score and stuff like that. So yeah, my brother a lot. Steph Curry. I'm a shooter.
Hey, that's
I love
okay.
Steph Curry.
I'm a big Steph Curry fan too, so I get it.
Yeah, Klay Thompson.
Yep.
On the girl side, Sue Bird. I'm not a point guard, but I just love the way she plays.
Totally, she's got a great game.
Yeah, Diana Taurasi too. Yeah, just I don't know the big names. the big names, but they're good role models to look up to. So,
totally.
Yeah.
Well, and like you said, it's when you're a shooter. I feel like all shooters. There's a Steph Curry, Klay Thompson element to all of those guys' games. So that's really cool.
Yeah, for sure.
So now I'm gonna make it a little tougher for you. So you can build an all-time starting five.
Okay.
WNBA, NBA. You know, past, present.
Yeah.
Who's your group? Who's your group of five?
Sue Bird.
Okay.
She's my number one always.
Yep.
Brianna Stewart.
Okay.
I'm just gonna go WNBA.
I
don't watch the NBA.
That's okay.
It's hard. I can't
do
it.
Do it.
I'm a big college basketball person, but I don't really like the NBA. Sue Bird, Brianna Stewart, Diana Taurasi. I'm thinking big. Gabby Williams.
Okay.
Maya Moore.
Great.
She doesn't.
Strong
she's
starting five.
Yeah, tall, but but yeah.
Okay, I love it. Love the WNBA starting five. We've done, I think, an NBA starting five, or I think we're working our way towards that. But I'm glad you got the WNBA repping. So that's cool. So this next one, this is something that we ask everyone who comes on the show. Obviously, we're a lot about building strength and being a strong person no matter what life throws at you. What is the thing for you in your life that gives you strength?
Oh, that's a good question. Probably my family. Just they've always supported me with everything. I think just my friends and family. They've always helped me build me up. My team helped. My coach is a huge inspirational you got this. You just have to believe in yourself. Stuff like that. I used to write down a lot of quotes in my phone, and I think in high school I had, what was it? I don't know, just not letting fear take over your life, live to the fullest and have fun. I think is what motivates me, and just gotta go out there and do what you love. And my parents taught me that a lot. So yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I think that's a great way. It's an insightful way, I think, to wrap everything up. And coming from a family that you come from, where everyone is a gifted athlete. I think it's an incredible response. So I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we're excited to, hopefully see you on the court here in 2021. We're all going to be rooting you on. Fingers crossed. We're going to be sending good vibes your way. But, more than anything, we can't thank you enough for being a guest today. We want to wish you the best of luck in this upcoming season. Fingers crossed it happens. Have a great school year. And thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me. This is awesome.
Anytime.
Yeah.